One Zambia, one nation. Thank you for joining us on the main news. I'm Hebert Mtabe and our sign language interpreter is Loveness Chupa. We take a look at the top stories. Vice President Inongewina says that the church has a big task of imparting good morals and values among its members. Zambia and Egypt signed a memorandum of understanding that will see the two countries continue cooperating in the area of agriculture and research. The General Nursing Council of Zambia says preparations to open a nursing and midwifery school in Sesheke District, Western Province, have advanced. And First Lady Esther Lungu has been honored by one of America's top leaders from California for her efforts in improving the quality of life for Zambians. Here now is the news in detail. Vice President Inongewina says that the church has a big task of imparting good morals and values among its members. Mrs. Wina says a failure to do so could lead to weak family institutions in the country. The Vice President said this in a speech read for her by National Guidance and Religious Affairs Minister Godfrida Sumaili. This was during a special Family Sunday service at Bible Gospel Church in Africa, Bigoka, in Lusaka's Matero Township today. Mrs. Wina said government appreciates the role the church plays in strengthening family units in various communities. Speaking earlier, Bigoka Archbishop Peter Androvu noted that families will only succeed in their endeavors when they are built on God's word.
The importance of such a fellowship is that once we understand and appreciate our family values, then we are sure of having a strong nation built on a firm foundation where citizens will have good morals such as respecting and taking care of the elderly people in our communities. Such fellowships help to remind one another of respecting those in authority at various levels. Yes. Above all, we show our oneness as believers in Jesus Christ, that we are one big family.
It's meant to build a strong foundation of our families, that they may live well in the land, that Zambia must be stronger than before. Tribes should not divide us. Our ethnic grouping should not divide us. But we must live under one motto, one Zambia, one nation.
Zambia and Egypt have signed a memorandum of understanding that will see the two countries continue cooperating in the area of agriculture and research. The current agreement has seen the Zambia Correctional Service implement various agricultural programs in the country. Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampiongo signed the agreement on behalf of Zambia, while Egyptian Minister of Agriculture and Land Reclamation Ezi El Din Abu Stait signed on behalf of his country. Another memorandum of understanding was also signed by Minister of Agriculture Michael Katambo and his Egyptian counterpart. Speaking at the event, Mr. Kampiongo said that the MOU will allow the Zambia Correctional Service to increase productivity. He said government wants the inmates to be equipped with agriculture skills before leaving correctional facilities. And Fisheries and Livestock Minister Kampamba Chewe urged the Egyptian government to expand the areas of cooperation to the fisheries and livestock sectors. She said government wants to increase the fish population in all water bodies, hence the need to work with other partners like those from Egypt. And the Egyptian Minister of Agriculture and Land Reclamation said his country wants to continue working with Zambia in the areas of agriculture and other sectors of the economy.
We have had training programs which have been provided. We recognize how much advancements you have made in the agriculture through mechanization and the revolution that you have worked on over the years. And so we have been sending our people to come and get training in agriculture, tourism, energy, telecommunication, and also defense and security.
Providing Egyptian investors who would like to participate with their brothers here and sisters in Zambia in cultivating parts of the land. And I know that there are some examples that already exist for Egyptian investors here in Zambia, and we would like to see in the future more qualified investors to come here. That would be the most practical way to transfer their knowledge, their capabilities to their Zambian brothers in the farms and in the fields.
Aquaculture is a globally important industry that provides essential food and nutrition to the growing world population. It also provides the cheapest source of animal protein. Just on this one, Your Excellency, I know you're aware that we'll be traveling to Egypt, obviously to learn more on what Egypt is doing different.
So the signing of these MOUs will not only strengthen our bilateral relations, but facilitate the growth and development agenda of our both countries. Zambia has immense endowment in terms of land, labor and water, indicative of a high potential for agriculture development. Zambia has a total land area of 75 million hectares.
Government is planning on awarding incentives to private investors who want to put up houses near newly constructed public schools. Housing and Infrastructure Development Minister Ronald Chitotera says this will be the quickest way to provide a decent accommodation to schools, especially those that are in rural areas. Mr. Chitotera says apart from providing land, government will also directly deduct the money for rent from the central paying system and give it to the developer. The minister says the initiative has worked well in Tanzania and Rwanda.
Government is interested in attracting the private investors who want to come and build and partner with us to build the civil servants accommodation, more especially in the rural areas at government in structures such as schools. We are providing incentives like in the rural areas. We'll be able to give them land and encourage them to build, and we'll be able to guarantee the off-taker. The teachers will be able to enter and begin renting. We will have also provided an extra incentive where we will agree with the developer to give them a deduction code. We have discussed this matter with the PSPSMD, who has shown willingness and has engaged the member unions, especially of the teacher unions, who have also expressed willingness of speaking to their members to bring them on board so that they become the off-takers, and with a view that those that will be willing, as they rent, then they will eventually buy them under the scheme that is called rent to own.
The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, has pledged to continue championing interventions and measures that will ease the flow of goods, people and transport across our borders. ZRA Acting Commissioner General Moses Shuko says this will help in the opening of new markets, especially for the developing communities. Mr. Shuko says the move will also help improve cross-border business among Zambians. He was speaking during the commemoration of the International Customs Day in Lusaka last night. Meanwhile, Commissioner Customs Sydney Chivabuka said that the concept of a smart border management highlights customs' role in supporting the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
As we celebrate the International Customs Day, it is an opportunity for us to reflect on our achievements, challenges, and our future strategic direction in facilitating trade and investment. This year's International Customs Day, whose theme is Smart Borders for Seamless Trade, Travel and Transport, is in line with the Zambia Revenue Authority mission statement, which states a world-class model of excellence in tax administration and trade facilitation. Ladies and gentlemen, the concept of smart borders highlights customs' role in supporting the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
The WCO is dedicating 2019 to the swift and smooth cross-border movement of goods, people, and the means of transport, with the slogan, Smart Borders for Seamless Trade, Travel and Transport. S for secure borders, where our activities are measurable, automated, using a risk management approach, and are technology-driven.
Preparations to open a nursing and midwifery school in Sesheke district of Western Province have advanced. General Nursing Council of Zambia Registrar and Chief Executive Officer Aaron Banda says infrastructure and staff for the nursing school have already been identified. Dr. Banda says that the college that will be called Yeta College of Nursing and Midwifery will start with a sizable number of staff and 100 students, 40 of whom will be boarders and the rest day scholars. The Yeta College of Nursing and Midwifery is expected to open before the end of next month, with a registration of the first students equally expected to start early next month.
When you look at the legacy goals of the Ministry of Health, one of them, which is legacy goal number 1, is to reduce maternal mortalities, child illnesses and deaths. And if you are to do that, you surely need the human capital, which is a key function of human resource. And nursing and midwifery forms part of that. And so we are happy with what we've seen here in Sesheke and the proposed Yeta College of Nursing and Midwifery, where the preparations have reached an advanced stage. The infrastructure has been identified for this particular institution. And we are also happy to report here that staff has been assembled, proposed that they begin with a sizable number and perhaps consider a number of the local people so that they can domesticate the training.
We take our first break. Stay tuned. We continue with the news. Central Province Minister Sidney Mushanga has warned that all underperforming civil servants will be dismissed. Mr. Mushanga says he will soon be recommending to the Public Service Management Division, PSMD, for some officers to be dismissed for underperformance. Here's a report.
It is 07 hours on a Friday and Central Province Minister Sidney Mushanga is already here on duty at the Chibombo District Administration offices. But it is after 08 hours and Mr. Mushanga is surprised that government offices are still empty. No one has turned up for work yet.
The one who is in charge, the district forestry officer and the deputy, they are not here. This is 8 hours.
The situation was the same with immigration officers.
Immigration officer, there is no one, only chairs and the computers.
What was even more shocking was that the DEBS offices were being manned by an office orderly.
DEBS is not here, SODL is not here. How do we improve? When we talk about the education sector, grade 12 results for 2018. Central Province, we are number 7 at the tail of the provinces. That's where we are, and we expect to improve in terms of results like this.
Mr. Mushanga has since castigated the district commissioner.
What is your explanation? Tell me what is happening in your district.
I think I have to do something. Every morning I will be coming here.
Let me tell you this. You will be fired.
That's true.
Not on a very serious note, we are going to be fired. Because we are from your office, most of the workers are not there.
The minister has warned of stern action against erring officers.
For me, recommendations that I'll be giving to the relevant ministries, especially PSMD, Public Service Management Division, the recommendations that I'll be giving is to retire such officers in national interest.
Katushi Bwadia reporting from Chibombo in Central Province.
Rural Electrification Authority, REA Chief Executive Officer Geoffrey Musonda is impressed with the progress on the 75.2 kilometer Luela Milambo 2018 grid extension project. Pastor Musonda says that the 33 kilovolts project located in Milenge and Chembe districts in Opula province will cost over 12 million kwacha. Here's a report.
A catchment population of about 12,000 people in Luela Milambo of Chembe and Milenge districts is expecting to be connected to the national electricity grid by August this year. The Rural Electrification Authority, REA, is setting up an overhead grid line from the existing 33 kV at Chembe Secondary School. REA Chief Executive Officer Geoffrey Musonda is pleased with the works on the 75.2 kilometer 2018 grid extension project.
Quite a distance, and you have also seen the terrain, particularly when it's raining like now. The area is relatively flat, so water tends to collect in certain areas.
Beneficiaries from Luela Mission Rural Health Center are enlightened with the development.
For the labor, for cleaning of instruments, we depend on chemicals. So some chemicals sometimes may run out. So with electricity, we'll be able to sterilize.
And Luela Secondary School head teacher Gaetano Mumba is happy with REA for looking into the plight of learners at its school.
And if we had a power which is connected to the national grid, I think this would be very much helpful. It will help us in many ways. One, it will also encourage teachers to come and work in this rural area.
Construction works on the project are at 60% completion stage. Cindy Mulamba, ZNBC News in Milenge District.
Meanwhile, ZESCO has started supplying electricity to Kafue residents through the newly constructed Greenfield substation built at a cost of about 54 million kwacha. ZESCO spokesperson Henry Kapata says that the utility firm is ensuring electricity supply in the district is enhanced to meet the growing demand. We have details in the following report.
Kafue district is growing at a fast rate, and this has prompted an increase in the demand for electricity. The initial 20 MVA Kafue substation can no longer meet the growing demand for the commodity. Nevertheless, the newly constructed Greenfield substation has boosted power supply in the district.
For the past 3 years, customer base was standing at about 9,800, and now 2019, as it stands now, customer base is about somewhere around 15,338. We have critical institutions that it is able to feed, direct powering the institutions such as the hospital. We are also able to pump power to Chilanga and vice versa.
The $3.5 million substation is now supplying electricity to Shikoswe area and the nearest townships. The substation has also come with new technology for effective service delivery.
Previously, we used to have what we used to call LMTs. The LMTs were oil-operated or insulated breakers, but the ones that we have now are GIS, that is gas-insulated system, where we are using gas as the quenching media for any operation of the breaker.
Since the declaration of Kafue as an iron and steel zone by President Edgar Lungu 3 years ago, the demand for electricity has been increasing quarterly by 3.4%. And more substations are yet to be constructed in the district, such as the Chimwemwe and Ten Park. Lucky Piri reporting in Kafue.
First Lady Esther Lungu has been honored by one of America's top leaders from California, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, for her efforts in improving the quality of life for Zambians. ZNBC reports that Congresswoman Waters commended the First Lady for her enduring commitment to reducing the vulnerability of the poor through the Esther Lungu Foundation.
She is one of the most influential figures in American politics and a senior member of the U.S. Congress. Congresswoman Maxine Waters holds an important leadership position as chair of the Financial Services Committee, which oversees matters related to banking, finance, currency, securities and insurance. But at this occasion, Maxine Waters is present specifically to recognize the selfless leadership of First Lady Esther Lungu. Mrs. Lungu has been honored for her commitment to improving the quality of life of the Zambian people.
And I want you to know that I have noted that your foundation has 4 pillars. First Lady Esther Lungu, empowerment of women and girls, maternal and child health, water and sanitation, persons with disability. Isn't that wonderful? It shows that not only are you the First Lady, but you're the First Lady with leadership. And you kind of remind us of a First Lady that we once had, Michelle Obama.
The Los Angeles Lusaka Sister City Committee has also honored the First Lady in recognition of the 50th anniversary of the Los Angeles Lusaka Partnership, which dates back to 1967.
Had spoken of the other day. We thank you, Mr. Tom Gilmore, Chairman, Sister Cities of Los Angeles, Belen Fry, Acting Executive Director, who's not here this evening either, and myself, Ernestine Thomas Robertson, and all of the members of the Los Angeles Lusaka Sister City Committee and colleagues. Your Excellency.
In earlier remarks, First Lady Esther Lungu acknowledged the efforts of past Zambian leaders in preserving the Los Angeles Lusaka Partnership.
Leaders, the late mayor of Los Angeles, Tom Bradley, and the first Republican President of Zambia, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, for their love for humankind.
Building bridges and not wars is the common phrase being embraced by members of the Los Angeles Lusaka Sister City Partnership. This dinner was organized in honor of the Zambian First Lady to mobilize more resources for the shipping of 4 fire engines to be delivered to Zambia. Victor Mwila for ZNBC News in Los Angeles, California, USA.
Former Vice President Lupando Mwape will be buried tomorrow at the Leopard Zoo Memorial Park in Lusaka. President Edgar Lungu is expected to be among mourners who will include former vice presidents, senior government officials, and political party leaders. A requiem mass for the late vice president, who served under late President Levi Mwanawasa, will be held at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus. Mr. Mwape died on Monday last week in South Africa, where he had been evacuated by government for specialist treatment. President Lungu accorded Mr. Mwape a 3-day period of national mourning, which ends tomorrow at 18 hours. Late Mr. Mwape also served as a Lukasha Member of Parliament. You're watching ZNBC Main News. We take our second break. We'll be right back with more news shortly. Stay tuned. It's now time for agriculture news. In the segment tonight, government calls on investors to invest in rice production and value addition in Western Province. More after this message. Government has called on investors to invest in rice production and value addition in Western Province. Agriculture Minister Michael Katambo says attraction of investments in the rice industry in Western Province is important because of the region's favorable climatic conditions for the crop. Naiz reports that the minister was speaking when he toured the Namshekende Farm Institute in Mongu that is producing various rice seed varieties.
Rice is one of the major crops produced in Western Province, mainly in the Zambezi grasslands, commonly known as the Barose floodplains. Western Province is currently the largest producer of rice in the country, mostly produced at small-scale level by farmers in the plains surrounding vicinities. Agriculture Minister Michael Katambo observes that the floodplains provide an opportunity for large investment in commercial rice production and processing in Western Province.
We would encourage, as Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Agriculture, the agriculture sector to grow and spread wings that will lure investment in the agricultural sector, that many of the investors become here, be anchor investors and create some bulking centers to create market linkages for rice producing farmers within the region, within the Western Province.
Namshakende Farm Institute in Mongo has enhanced production of different varieties of seed rice.
So basically here we do the multiplying of the seed because we started with small quantities, but as you can see now, we are actually expanding the fields. So the seed source will actually have a larger base so that we can supply to the farmers that want to grow rice in the province.
So far, we have 7 hectares of Super MG, which you have just seen. We have 1 hectare of Misamfutu and 1 hectare of Nerika 4. Then we have 1 hectare of Kirombero. Total hectareage, that makes 10 for this year.
Government believes that large investment in rice production and processing in Western Province would result in the outgrower system and create markets for small-scale farmers. For ZNBC News, I'm Nicholas Mwale, Nice in Mongo.
That is all we had in agriculture news tonight. Be sure to join us for more next Sunday. And now for the rest of the news. Wozakile Member of Parliament Pavyuma Kalowo has encouraged the local authorities to be partnering with our lawmakers in implementing community projects which are aimed at benefiting people in our society. Speaking when he flagged off the weekly collection of garbage at Chamboli and Wozakile markets, Mr. Kalowo said that there is need for the local authorities to enhance their role to clean up garbage. Here's a report.
This is a common scene in many communities. Garbage lying in areas that are not occupied. For Wozakile constituency, the issue of garbage is slowly being sorted out. Wozakile Member of Parliament Pavyuma Kalowo has organized machinery and personnel to clear garbage in various communities.
You know, this is rainy season, and you know the activities that follow during the rainy season, the cholera issues. So we are trying to avoid the cholera here. And again, what you are seeing here is collaboration now with the council. Now there's good collaboration. Previously there was no collaboration because you know, in terms of garbage collection, the council alone, they've got no capacity. Me alone also have got no capacity. So I'm here to supplement on what the local authorities are supposed to do.
Residents who have lived in this area with this huge pile of garbage are elated.
Awo kona toto ababa kusekela mulando akutira pantu batu wamisha kwe inchendi olo chimbecho ningalanda punga chakutira bamazembe bali konke nyempo kutira bengala bombe fine kuti chawama.
Historical garbage at Chamboli market and another one in Wozakile were cleared during today's exercise. Paul Sharala, ZNBC News in Kitwe.
The Patriotic Front PF in Chirabombwe district has reported to police an independent candidate aspiring for the Anoya Zulu local government seat for allegedly using President Edgar Lungu's image on his poster. PF Chirabombwe Youth Chairperson Samson Chinsambo says that the ruling party has decided to report Joseph Kanzenzi for campaigning as if he is contesting on a PF ticket. Mr. Chisambo has told ZNBC News in an interview that the ruling party's candidate is the only person who can use the president's portrait. He has warned Mr. Kanzenzi to pull down his posters before the youths in the ruling party do so.
Independent candidate doesn't have a party president, so why should he be using our party president image on his poster? That is impersonation, and we're urging him once again, we're warning him to stop using that. And we've gone further. We've launched a complaint to the police, and the police, they are looking at that matter, and they should stop that.
And when contacted, Mr. Kanzenzi's campaign team said that the poster bearing the portrait of President Lungu was made by mistake. Mr. Kanzenzi's campaign manager, Eric Kanzenzi, said that the error was made by the printer, adding that all posters with President Lungu's face have since been withdrawn. But when reached for a comment, Copperbelt Police Commissioner Charit Katanga said she had not yet received the report. Mrs. Katanga, however, said electoral matters are handled by the District Conflict Management Committee, which is headed by the Chilirabombwe Town Clerk. Efforts to get a comment from the Town Clerk proved futile as his phone was unreachable. On a sad note, a chairperson of the Zambian Catholic community in South Africa, Chimwemwe Mtonga, has died. Zambia's High Commissioner to South Africa, Emmanuel Mwamba, says a 51-year-old Mr. Mtonga collapsed and died suddenly on a Saturday evening at his home in Johannesburg. Mr. Mwamba says Zambians living in South Africa are shocked with Mr. Mtonga's sudden death. He says late Mr. Mtonga and his wife Beauty were selfless couple that was instrumental in promoting unity among Zambians in South Africa. Mr. Mwamba says the couple recently organized the funeral service of former Vice President Lupando Mwape, where the late Mr. Mtonga was the director of ceremony at the church service held at St. Martin de Porres Catholic Church in Craig Hall Park. He says the deceased helped and collaborated with the High Commission in organizing community activities, especially the holding of national prayers, Independence Day celebrations, and other associated activities. Mr. Mwamba says that the couple was also quick in assisting Zambians, especially those that were affected by sickness, death, or were stranded, and many young people under their care. He says that the death of Mr. Mtonga is a big blow to the Zambian community in South Africa. The late Mr. Mtonga, who worked for Standard Bank in South Africa, lived in that country for about 20 years. Mr. Mtonga was also brother of former Ministry of Health and Public Service Management Division Permanent Secretary Dr. Velepi Mtonga. He is survived by his wife, Beauty, and 2 children. This is contained in a statement availed to ZNBC News by First Secretary, Press and Public Relations at the Zambian High Commission in South Africa, Naomi Nyawali. In sports news, the 2019 FAS MTN Transitional Football League this afternoon kicked off with 8 out of 10 games are played across the country. Games are played in Stream A, so the Sweet Boys of Mazabuga na Kambala Leopards are beating Kitwe United 1-0. Mighty Mufulira Wanderers has issued a strong warning after thrashing a newly promoted Super League side Prison Leopards by 3-0 at Shinde Stadium in Mufulira. In Lusaka, Stream A teams Zanako Football Club beat the Airmen Red Arrows by 4-1 to kickstart their campaign on a positive note. Kabwe Warriors played host to Lusaka Dynamos in a match that ended in a 1-0 draw at the Godrich Talu Stadium in Kabwe. And the Stream A fixture between Lumwana Radiants and Nkana Football Club was postponed due to Nkana's involvement in the Samo Zumu Ndrovu Charity Shield match played on Saturday. In Stream B, Ndola outfit Forest Rangers beat Green Eagles by 1-0 in an early kickoff at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. In Lusaka, Napsa Stars stand Zambia Police-sponsored side Nkwazi Football Club by 2-0. And in Andola, Budcon beat newcomers Secute City by 2-0. In other Stream B games are played this afternoon. Powerful Power Dynamos beat newcomers Maestro United Zambia Academy Football Club by 2-0 in a heated fixture played at the Asa Davis Stadium in Kitwe. Meanwhile, the game between Green Buffaloes and champions Zesco United will be played on Wednesday, as well as the match involving Lumwana Radiants and Nkana Football Club. And as we end the news, we take a look at the headlines again. Vice President Inonge Wina says that the church has a big task of imparting good morals and values among its members. Zambia and Egypt sign a memorandum of understanding that will see the two countries continue cooperating in the area of agriculture and research. General Nursing Council of Zambia says preparations to open a nursing and midwifery school in Sesheke District, Western Province have advanced. And First Lady Esther Lungu has been honored by one of America's top leaders from California for her efforts in improving the quality of life for Zambians. That ends the news. Thank you for watching. Good night.